Hello, hi, welcome to this vlog and welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and welcome to another reading vlog. It is a cold and windy Monday night. Fall is finally in the air. I've seen a couple of fallen leaves this week, which is this weekend, which was exciting. But I just wanted to really quick update you on what I'm reading so that we can get started with this vlog. So I'm currently still working my way through A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry, which is a kind of historical fantasy fiction novel about the Age of Enlightenment plus magic. So anything you might be able to imagine with that premise is probably in here because this book is chock full of a lot of good stuff. Because I still have 2 books for the Magical Readathon to finish by the end of this month, which the end of this month is mid next week, I've decided to put this on pause until I get those done. But I may be reading it here and there just because I'm really enjoying this book and I can't stay away. And speaking of the Magical Readathon, I am reading The Maidens by Alexis. This is just the dust jacket because I read hardcovers without the dust jacket. I'm about 50 pages into this. I started it last night and we'll be continuing this week, trying to get through it as quickly as I can, not because I'm trying to rush it, but because I have The Name of the Wind to go after this for the readathon. I don't really know what The Maidens is about, but I chose it for my dark academia prompt because I heard that it was collegiate kind of dark academia, classic studies, murder, mystery, mayhem. I have heard mixed things about it, so I'm a little tentative and nervous, but so far I'm liking it well enough. And then on audio, I'm listening to The Year of the Witching by Alexis Hendersen. I am close to halfway through this. This is about a young woman named Emmanuelle who comes from a lineage of magic, but who currently lives in a puritanical society. To me, the religion in this book is a mix of Puritanism and pagan deity worship. So the actual powers that are existing within this religion seem more similar to pagan deities. There's the Dark Mother and the Holy Father. And just the way that those gods are described remind me a lot more of pagan deities than the Christian God. But then the religion that is practiced around these deities is very, very puritanical. But Emmanuelle has history with dark magic, as her mother and father have both passed away, and her mother spent her entire pregnancy in the dark wood where it is said that witches live and the Dark Mother keeps her daughters. Emmanuelle's always felt different, but as we travel through the story of this book, she starts to make contact with the memory of her mother that is held in the dark wood. And if this book continues on its current trajectory, it's going to be a new favorite. I am so in love with this book. The writing is incredible. The imagery is so consistent and so pointed. That's one thing that I think makes a really, really good book, and why classics in the canon are classics in the canon, like when you're looking at English class in high school and college and stuff. And the imagery does so much work for the author, for the characters, for the story. Every single element of this book is working overtime to create this incredibly atmospheric, suck you down into the depths story. So tonight I'm going to be relaxing as much as I can. Last week I saw a psychiatrist for the first time and she upped my dosage on the antidepressant that I was on. And so when I had first gone on this antidepressant, I tried one and it didn't work for me, so I went on a new one. And this current antidepressant, when I first went on it, I had a series of, side effects, symptoms as I was getting used to it, and then those kind of faded away. But since last Wednesday, when I started taking a higher dosage, I have had a renaissance of those side effects and symptoms. I am so exhausted. All I want to do is sleep and eat French fries. My brain feels very gummy and disorganized, and so tonight I'm gonna try to relax as much as I can to conserve my energy, because getting through the workday today was a struggle with how I'm feeling. So I'm gonna be working on my vlog for tomorrow that will go up, and then maybe doing a little bit of planning because there's a video that I want to make this week, but I am going out of town. I'm going home to see my parents on Friday, so I need to be pronto with that. I'm hoping to have at least a little time at the end of the day to sit and knit and listen to The Year of the Witching. So that is all I have for now. I will see you again when I have another update. So I'm currently reading The Maidens on my lunch break. Please ignore my skin. I've been picking today, which is a really hard habit to break. I've been picking at my skin. But I just reached about page 90 and have finished part 1, so before I moved on to part 2, I just wanted to kind of let you know my thoughts on it. I am enjoying the characters and their relationships. The character relationships are really interesting. The Maidens is about murders that are happening at a college and a woman who is a psychotherapist whose niece is going to the college. She raised her niece, so when her niece's best friend goes missing and then is murdered, she travels to the college to comfort her. And her niece believes that one of the professors at the school who teaches classics is the murderer. So that alone is very interesting to me. I am feeling like the writing is very bare bones. It's doesn't have a lot of atmosphere. It doesn't have a lot of kind of the extra frills that you would expect from kind of an atmospheric, creepy, dark academia mystery thriller, which I think could probably be attributed to the fact that dark academia books are usually told from the perspective of someone who's involved in the humanities or the arts, and the main character, Mariana, in this book is a psychotherapist, but it's also not overly analytical like it would be. There's just not a lot of atmosphere, there's not a lot of character or pizzazz to the way that it's written, which could be an Alex Michaelides thing, I'm not sure. But anyway, I am gonna go take advantage of the rest of this lunch break and read some more of this book.
Greetings vlog. I currently have a stomach ache, so I don't have, I'm not in the mood to sit up and tell you this, but I really want to DNF The Maidens right now. And maybe it's my tummy ache and I'm just tired, but I just don't care. I don't care. And I'm currently reading the worst therapy session I've ever witnessed. It's awful. I don't want to be a therapist long term. I've changed my mind about my career goals, but I did pay enough attention in my psychology degree. I also pay enough attention in my actual therapy sessions to know that this is not it. And bad therapy is one thing that I cannot stand in TV, movies, books, whatever. I just am distressed. Stay tuned. I don't know if I'm going to finish this. I still have 100 pages.
You guys, it's 60 degrees outside right now, and I could not be more excited. I wanted to let you know about my reading updates. I'm 80% of the way done with The Year of the Witching, and I am just as in love with it as I was the last time I spoke to you. The plot is starting to escalate a lot, and the main character is starting to learn a lot more very quickly. There's been a lot of very open questions, and she has been constantly theorizing about the answer. She hasn't just been asking the question and leaving it open. She's been actively trying to puzzle out the answer, which I love. But now she's getting some real answers from people who know. And so that's kind of changing the trajectory of things. Right now, it is a 5-star prediction, maybe possibly 4.5 stars, but I am really loving it. And next, I am currently 50 pages into The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and I am enjoying this a lot so far. I'm kind of not really into it enough to even tell you what it's really about, but I will let you know when I figure that out, and I'll let you know more thoughts when I get further in. And then this morning at 4 a.m., not because I stayed up that late to finish it, but because I laid down on the couch last night after dinner and fell asleep at 9:30 and woke up at 3 and then took a shower and finished The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and it was bad, you guys. I wasn't expecting to hate it as much as I ended up hating it. There's a lot of sensitive topics that are brushed by, a lot of sensitive topics that are actively mishandled. And it's almost like the characters are in such a caricature of a murder mystery character that you know from the beginning what the final twist is going to be, because it's so emphasized that this person is a red herring, or that person is a red herring, or this person is an angel and so perfect and nothing could ever be wrong with them because they were just the greatest person who ever lived. Things like that. That person must have done something mysterious that we're going to learn about later. It's our mystery mousecatool. So I didn't really know what to rate this, but unfortunately I put it into my Cawpile sheet, which I'm going to start using again, and it came out with 1 star. So, Cawpile never lies. I don't even want to talk about this that much. It was just such a blip on my radar, not even impactful in any way whatsoever. I finished the book feeling like I hadn't read anything, so I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't read this, but it did fulfill one of my prompts for the Magical Readathon, so that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this as soon as I can and pretend like it never happened. But anyway, the rain that you saw earlier has brought us cold autumn temperatures, and I am so excited, knock on wood, that it stays that way. Hi, so this is a little awkward because I haven't spoken to you since Wednesday and I am in the same sweatshirt. So, you know, but it is what it is. This is my favorite cozy, oversized men's sweatshirt. Juliet and I just got back from a weekend trip to visit my parents. I had gotten rear-ended on the interstate actually like 6 weeks ago. My dad wanted to have his people fix it at home, like the people that he knows and trusts for car stuff. So he came and got my car, and I had been driving his car, so I had to go to where my parents live, which is about 4 hours away, and trade cars again with my dad. I did a good bit of reading considering this weekend, so I have a couple updates. So I don't know if I've already mentioned finishing The Year of the Witching. If I have, I'll cut this part out, but I did finish listening on audio to The Year of the Witching by Alexis Hendersen, which is a new favorite and new 5-star. It was so incredible. It was so unexpected too. Like, I had no idea what it was about going into it. I had just seen the cover, and I think back when it was first coming out, I had heard the synopsis and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, but I had forgotten what it was about. And so I went into it with like no expectations. And then within the first chapter, I just knew that it was gonna be a knockout, and it continued to deliver the entire time I was reading. It was so good. The writing was incredible. I felt like about the 3/4 mark was a little drug a little bit, and the writing got a little dull, but then it did pick back up at the end and kind of recalibrated itself, and it ended up being just a fantastic book. I adored it. One of my favorite things, and one of the things that separates books from each other in my brain, is the construction of the narration in relation to the plot. As you move through the story, how the plot reacts to the main character. So in some of my favorite books, you start with a very narrow plot point, and then as you move through, as the main character starts to move through that path of the plot, it just starts to unfold and it gets bigger than you ever knew it would be. And then there's another different kind of narration plot style that I like, which I think The Year of the Witching is, where you have something big that you're tackling to start off, but the nature of that thing flips and flops and changes. It's just twists and turns everywhere, and you keep hunting after the same thing, keep trying to pursue the same thing, but the nature of that thing keeps changing. And that can mean something different for every book. But with The Year of the Witching, Emmanuelle is trying to understand her past with her mother, who was, who spent her pregnancy going crazy in the dark forest and being tormented by demon women, and trying to understand what happened there and trying to make her place in her town where she's constantly mistreated, but she still loves those people nonetheless. So like understanding her mother's origin story and where she comes from is a big task, but that story, in the pursuit of that story, she discovers that the nature of that story is a lot different than she thought it was originally. I thought the characters were top-notch. I loved the combination of puritanical Christianity with pagan deity worship. I thought that was fantastic. Super well done. It was a very unnerving and nerve gritting, like gritted against my nerves kind of religion. So 5 stars for me from The Year of the Witching. I believe that the sequel is coming out in December, so I will be pre-ordering that so fast. And then I am now 260 pages into The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and I am really enjoying this. This is such a captivating story. So this is what I'll say about the synopsis for The Name of the Wind. There's this man. He's a living legend in the most serious sense of the word. And he has changed his name. He's gone off the grid. He owns an inn where travelers can stay overnight. And he's basically trying to make a living with the people skills and the skills that he has without causing a lot of attention, because he has a history that he doesn't want, that he knows people will come after him, people will bow before him. He doesn't want any of it. So then a guy who is tasked with writing down stories finds him and says, "Oh my gosh, you're this guy." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, yes I am. How did you find me? How dare you?" And so he tells his own story. And that's what the main chunk of the book is. So right now where I am, he is a 15-year-old boy and he is just starting out at magic school. So it's very exciting. I definitely am really enjoying this. It's definitely high fantasy. It's taking me a long time to get through. Like the pages go quickly, but I can only read a little chunk at a time because it's so packed full of like information and action and time passing so quickly because there's so much to tell. I'm going to try to finish this before the end of the month so that I can use it for the magical readathon, but if I don't, I've already met my requirements for the magical readathon, so I might just be okay with that. So I may pick up The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager like in the middle of the week right before the month ends, just to like get something else under my belt before September goes away and October is here on Friday. And then I was looking for audiobooks on Libby and I finally broke down and I rented Times Convert by Deborah Harkness. I have had, I don't know why, but ever since Times Convert came out, which is an offshoot book to the Discovery of Witches series, which is one of my favorite series. I don't know why though, but every time I've like had someone be like, "Oh, have you read Times Convert yet?" I said, "No, I didn't. I don't want to." And I don't know why. I think it's because I love Matthew and Diana so much, and I thought it was only gonna be about Marcus and Phoebe, but it's actually like majority about Diana and Matthew. So there's still like good chunks that are told from Diana's perspective of her and her life with the twins, all that stuff. Very good. The premise for Times Convert is even a spoiler to the Discovery of Witches series, so I'm not going to reveal that, but just saying, for all Discovery of Witches fans out there, I am definitely enjoying it, listening to it on audiobook. And I have quite a few books waiting on my shelf, so I'm gonna try to be getting through a lot of those this week as well. Hello, so now is September 30th. We did a bit of a time jump in this vlog. I went home to visit my parents and I got sick. So The end of last week that we missed was me getting ready to take that road trip and packing up and going to visit my parents over the weekend. And then the beginning of this week that we missed was me being deathly ill with a head cold. For the last 3 years that I have lived away from home, without fail, almost every single time I go to where my parents live, I either have an allergy attack or get a cold. What can I say? I'm allergic to the place. So let's talk about what I have read. LOL. I have been reading The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I read it all last week. I read it all weekend. Did not read it a single bit while I was ill. That means that I did make it to page 417. So I will be continuing this as soon as I feel able. My cold kind of set my brain weird. Like, we're not having full thoughts here. Head empty, no thoughts. It's hard to read a book like this. I love the dual timeline of him being an adult who's gone through this whole life that he doesn't really care to live in. He doesn't want to live in that identity anymore. So he creates this new identity for himself, and then somebody finds him, and then he decides to tell his story. And so the past timeline is him telling his story, and he goes to magic school. He's a smart little a-hole who doesn't know necessarily that he is an a-hole, but he knows that he's smart. Vastly enjoying this. Very excited to see it continue. I don't think this is a series that I'm going to binge. I don't think it's very bingeable in the first place, but I don't think I'm going to binge it because it is such kind of a long, drawn out reading process that I think in order for me to appreciate it, I'm gonna, like, probably every couple of months until I reach the end of the series, pick up a book, take a while to get through it, you know, that whole routine. And then I'm almost finished with The Last Time I Lied, which also has a huge ghost glare by Riley Sager, which I'm definitely enjoying because the main character has the same name as me. This one is not as fun and fancy as Final Girls. I really adored Final Girls. I'm still a little loopy from all of the medications that I took when I was ill. I'm also like very excited to be feeling better, so I'm kind of like all over the place, but like exhausted. You know, this is gonna hurt to edit this clip. Confirmed, it does indeed hurt to edit this clip. But The Last Time I Lied is about a young girl. She's 13 when she's put in a cabin at camp with 3 other 16-year-old girls, and one night the 16-year-old girls leave the cabin in the middle of the night and they don't come back, and nobody knows where they are. And then when the little girl is older, she gets asked to come back and be an instructor at the camp. So she takes it so that she can figure out what happened to the girls. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I think right now it's sitting at a solid 4 stars. Like, not my absolute favorite, but still very, very good. It has room to turn itself around and be like a 4.5 or a 5 star. It also has room to totally flop and go down to a 3 star. It just kind of depends on what happens in this last little chunk here. So we'll see. I'm feeling comfortable at a 4 stars with this. Final Girls, I just adored it. I don't know what can top it. Maybe Home Before Dark can top it. I'm not sure. I totally forgot to update you on my audiobooks. It took a very long time because it was a very long book, but I listened to Times Convert. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was a nice thing to listen to while I was driving to and from my parents' place, as well as something to listen to while I've been recovering, because it was a very familiar setting, very familiar characters, very familiar contexts and ways of speaking and such. So I think I'm gonna give that a solid 4 stars. I didn't obviously love it as much as the original series, but it definitely enhanced my overall enjoyment and my like kind of the architecture of the world inside my head. Definitely enhanced that. and made it all better and made me happy. And now I'm listening to American Sherlock by Kate Winkler Dawson on audiobook. She's one of my favorite podcasters. I mentioned her in my podcast video that I uploaded. Go check that out if you haven't. I actually worked really hard on it, and I'm really proud of it as a video in general. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. But Kate Winkler Dawson is a sort of specialist in older true crime cases. So she wrote this book about a man who was a scientist and an investigator and essentially shaped forensics as we know it today. So I'm very excited to learn how he did that, learn about him as a detective and as a scientist and as an academic, and how he has affected our world. So I'll be listening to that. Hopefully I will get through it pretty quickly because it is due at the library in like 2 days. I think it's time for me to stop talking because I'm starting to feel strain in my voice. Hi, it's Saturday. Today I'm going to be working on redecorating my apartment, which will be a whole other video that you will see on my channel in a couple weeks here in a little bit. But I finished American Sherlock yesterday and it was fantastic. Kate Winkler Dawson's narration style, the way that she tells stories, is so unique. They're such old stories and she knows so much about the context and the world that people were living in back then. And I think she's making like assumptions about how things are, but she does such detailed research. She tells such a detailed story. Listening to Kate Winkler Dawson narrate a story for you from like old times feels like you're watching a documentary, and it is amazing. I adored the book. I think I gave it a solid 4 stars, but I'm now listening to The Shadows by Alex North as well as some podcast episodes, so I will keep you updated as that goes along. One final thought on American Sherlock. I definitely recommend it. It is a deep dive, but also a flyover of a man's entire career who has shaped forensic science as we know it. He was an incredible man who did incredible work and had a very difficult life, and he basically created forensic science for us. The writing does get a bit gory at times, but it's over in a second and it's definitely worth it. There were some points that it didn't necessarily completely hold my attention, and so that's why I kind of took the star off. But I'm gonna get moving because it's already 1 o'clock and I have stuff to do. So love to talk to you. I'll see you later. Hi there. I know the Magic Treehouse books did this, I think, but I read a series when I was little called the ABC Mysteries. So the ABC Mystery inspired title of this clip is Webcam at Work. So hi, it's lunchtime and I am using this opportunity to finish up this vlog. My uploading and editing schedule is still really off kilter from when I was sick and out of town and took a break. So I'm just getting back into things, finishing this video up on my break today. But I read another book after that last clip that you just saw. I listened to the entirety of The Shadows, almost the whole thing, on Saturday and finished it, I think, early Sunday afternoon. And it was absolutely fantastic. So before I start like literally losing my mind over this book, The Shadows is about a group of little boys, not little boys, but young boys, about middle school, early high school age, who get involved in a murder plot. And there are basically 2 boys who are best friends and 2 boys who are best friends, and these boys kind of like adopt these boys as their friends. And then one of these boys breaks off, one of the like kind of adopted take you under my wing boys breaks off from the group, and then these 2 boys commit a murder, but one of them just disappears. And so years later, when the boy who broke off from the group originally, his name is Paul, he's the main character, when he breaks off from the group, when he comes back to the town 30 years later to visit his ailing mother, he discovers that there are copycat murders of that murder happening all over, everywhere, and have been happening for years. And there is an aspect of it that's very paranormal, very ghostly. There's an aspect of lucid dreaming, like that kind of stuff, and it has a very strong tension between paranormal and human evil, which I adore. And my favorite thing about that dynamic in this book is that the characters in the book have a very obvious bias towards one of those things, but the reader, from the way the story's being told to us, we really don't know which it is. Even though the characters have an obvious bias, the reader doesn't know what it is until the end. The writing style, the pace, the character creation, the twists, the themes in terms of thematic consistency, I literally don't know that I can find a fault with this book. I thought it was immaculate. And spoiler alert for next week's vlog, my audiobook for The Whisper Man just came in, which is Alex North's first book, and I'm gonna listen to that so freaking fast. This is one of my new favorite books. It captivated me so quickly and kept my attention. There is video footage of me because I filmed a time lapse because I was painting a wall in my apartment as I was listening, and there is video footage of me standing in the middle of my dining room going, just like stock still with my AirPods in, going, creepy little British middle school boys obsessed with a ghost that lives in the woods. It's so... If you haven't read The Shadows, read it right now. Read it, listen to it. The audiobook is fantastic because there are two perspectives. There is the Paul, the main character who I mentioned, and then a lady detective who's on the case. And they're narrated by a male actor and a female actor, respectively. And so that is a fantastic element of the story. Obviously, 5 stars, a new favorite book. I'm hoping The Whisper Man is just as good because I know there's got to be people who hate it, but like I swear I cannot find a fault with this book. And I hope that Alex North writes like a million more because it was amazing. So thank you for watching this vlog. You can find my Instagram and all the books that I've listed in this video down in the description. If you have enjoyed hanging out with me today and would like to hang out some more, please leave me a like, a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these books or you have any recommendations based on the things that I have liked in this video and the things that I may not have liked in this video. And subscribe because I post a reading vlog like this every week and a sit-down video every week. As long as I'm not sick or traveling. So anyway, thanks again for watching the video. I hope you are doing well. If you're not, I hope it gets better soon, and I hope that you love what you're reading. Goodbye!